That's good, right? Fortunately, I'm the one giving that presentation, as if you haven't already heard me talk enough today. But before I get started, just a quick thing about the handout. On the very back is a four-year planner for those of you who are in middle school, going into high school, or even those of you who are freshmen and sophomores, and even juniors and seniors can use this. But it's really, really useful to kind of plan out your 4 years, because college applications isn't just about between your junior and senior year, it's what you've built up over 4 years. So this is a great way to get started on that and kind of plan out how you want your 4 years to pan out. And that way you create the best profile for yourself to apply to the college that you want to go to. And then, who doesn't have a reading passage? Who didn't grab one? Parents, you can, there are extra copies, so I will pass them around. So even parents, you can grab one. So just pass it around the room, and it'll be useful later on in the presentation. But as you already know, I'm Darshana Prakasam, and actually today I'm presenting on the SAT. Everything that we all know and love, of course. But the way I got involved with the SAT is, of course, I took it when I was in high school. But in DC, where I am now, I'm actually an SAT teacher for capital educators. And I never thought I'd get involved in the SAT after getting through it in high school. And I thought, okay, I'm done with that forever. But I'm telling you, standardized tests will follow you, because I brought it just as a prop. I have my LSAT book, and I'm getting ready for another standardized exam. And standardized exams are extremely useful, and it's a great way for colleges to kind of look at your profile next to other people. So today, I'm giving you a brief overview on things to expect with the SAT and basic strategies to kind of beating the SAT. So SAT, such an annoying test. Well, actually, it used to stand for the Scholastic Aptitude Test, and now it's just the SAT. It doesn't have any meaning. Why they stuck with it, I'm not exactly sure, but it's been around for a while, and I'm pretty sure it'll be around for another long while. So, what is it actually? The reason colleges use the SAT is they think that it measures your critical thinking skills. And based on your SAT, they make projections of what kind of GPA you'll have in college and how academically successful you will be in a 4-year institution or a 2-year institution. They use the SAT to determine this. What they have realized is there isn't a strong correlation between your SAT score and your performance in college, because people change from their high school years to their college years. Some become more motivated, some become less motivated. But either way, they believe that it's a good indication of your critical thinking skills. Lucky for us, every time the SAT is administered, it has the same format, the same type of questions, and they use the same traps. So what does this mean for us? Well, we can prepare for it. How important is the SAT, and why is this one 4-hour exam even important? Well, because colleges say so, and we need to be admitted before we can go to those colleges, right? So say that this is your college profile. 50% is your GPA. Can anybody tell me an estimate of about how many hours go into prepping for your GPA, building up your GPA over the course of your 4 years?
Your whole.
In hours. Any idea?
365 times 4 days.
About 8,000 hours go into building up your GPA. And that's 50% of your college profile. And then there's this little section right here, about 25%, your SAT, a 4-hour exam. 8,000 hours, 50%. 4 hours, 25%. About how many hours do you think on average students spend prepping for the SAT? Yeah, about maybe 4 or 5, some will go 10. So the more time you prep, the higher score you can get on something that's 25% of your college profile, right? That's why those of you who are freshmen and sophomores right now, don't tune me out. The earlier that you get started, the better it is. Because junior year, how many rising juniors do I have? Rising juniors? Those who just finished their sophomore year. Anybody who's a rising senior? Okay, there we go. So those of you who are going into your junior year, it's a tough year. You will be extremely busy. For those of you who are going to be seniors, you just finished your super tough year and now you're applying for colleges, right? But junior and senior year is where you're going to be packed and slammed with all these things. So freshmen and sophomores, if you have the opportunity to start thinking about the SAT now, do it. The easier it is to get it out of the way. Okay, so the way the SAT is put together is there are 3 different sections: critical reading, writing, and math. The writing section has an essay as well that is computed into your score. But each section is 800 points, giving you a grand total of 2,400 points. There are 10 exam sections. Well, that doesn't seem fair. One section gets an extra one? Well, the thing is, there is a kind of variable section. It's their experimental section. So they put it in. Basically, they're making you pay for an SAT, and then they're making you pay so they can experiment on you. That's essentially what it is. But this one section they use to determine whether those types of questions will be useful for future exams. So that section isn't counted at all towards your score. So potentially you could miss questions on that and it wouldn't affect your score at all. But I'm telling you now, don't try to guess which one's the experimental section. Don't try and leave an entire section blank because you are 100% positive that that is the experimental section. If it's not, you just lowered your score. But it's to put that out there that if you come back and you find one section really, really hard, it might have been the experimental section, so don't lose hope. So this is a score conversion table, but basically you don't have 800 questions for each section, right? So you'll have about 25 questions, 20 questions per section, and they'll use that to convert it to a score that is out of 800. So this all sounds kind of daunting, kind of annoying, and just a pain in the neck. But Hakuna Matata, there is a silver lining. The SAT you should use as an opportunity to gain a strategic advantage. What I showed you was that it was 25%, right? So it looked kind of upsetting that something so small could mean something so big. But if you put in the effort to prepare for the SAT and really do a good job on it, you just built up 25% of your college profile. And moreover, what you do in school is different from what a student does in school in Iowa, right? And some of you and many of you are going to really challenging high schools with a lot of competition. So would it be fair if your GPA was compared to a student's GPA at a school that was extremely easy and they had absolutely no competition? Well, the SAT would be that chance for you to show that, look, I'm not just smart at my high school, but I'm smart compared to students across the United States because I have a higher SAT score, right? And it's not that much effort for something so big, right? Yes? Nod of approval? It's okay, I've been on that side, I know. Sometimes it's like, okay, let's just stop talking. Okay, your test zone. This sounds a little bit more epic than it actually is, but your test zone is an extremely important thing. The more that you practice, the more accustomed you get to your test conditions. When you go in the day of the test, you're already going to be stressed out. You have to sit for 4 hours to take this exam. So why at that time should you add external factors into your stress? The kid next to you might be tapping his pencil a lot on the table. Or the person next to you didn't shower in the morning and they smell really, really bad. Or the school decided that the lawn had to be cut at 8 in the morning the day of the SAT. These are all things that are going to distract you, right? And the more distractions, is your concentration on the SAT going to go up or down?